Hey, scrapbook friends, it's Nicole, and this is week 44 for our Theme Park Thursday series. We're still at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and today we're doing pictures of the Kite Tails show, which was a very short-lived show in the Discovery River Lagoon. There's like this amphitheater. I can't remember why they made it. They might have made it for this. I feel like they made this amphitheater. They've done 2 shows that I know of, and most of the time it just sits empty. But this is for the 50th anniversary. I got 26 photos on this page, was able to journal, was able to use the kite punch, and I had a lot of fun with it. It did take me longer, even for me, than some of my other layouts, just because there's so many, but so many photos. But I think it was worth it, and I love the way it turned out, and that for me is the most satisfaction, right? I don't mind spending a lot of time on a layout if I love the way it turned out. If I were more cut up, I might not mind so much spending this much time on a layout anyway. But because we're just doing one a week for this Theme Park Thursday series, I feel like it gives me a little bit of extra leeway and a little chance to splurge and try new things and do fun things. So stay tuned to see the process of how this layout came together in case you ever want to duplicate it for your own scrapbooks. So once again, I find myself with a very large stack of photos that I know I probably won't use all of them. And if I was better at sorting through my photos on my computer, I probably wouldn't order this many. If I had a better plan when I started scrapbooking, I probably wouldn't order this many. But I just get so annoyed on my computer. It's so hard for me to decide which picture I want when I can't really see it. So like these are a whole sequence of pictures, and I just didn't know. So because I have so many, I do think that I'm going to need to do something with smaller pieces, and I don't really know anything about what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to kind of sort. Like this is the big Baloo, the bear. This is him crashing. Those are the, I don't know if they're the kite people. They're the workers. That's the little, have the little kites. What do those look like? Little hang gliders. They're not hang gliders. They definitely look like kites. There's some more Baloo. There's some more of the workers. That's kind of a cool one with the kites. I don't even know what's crashing into the other side. But I'm thinking a lot of these I could just cut small. So maybe we're going to do, I don't even know what. There's King Louie. That one I probably might want to keep whole. Yeah, I don't need all these little kites. We're kind of right where they were doing the landing, so we do have them kind of crashing into the sides, the benches over here. And I definitely want to tell the story about this too, and I probably need to look it up. I'll have to pull out my phone at some point when I'm not using it, right here to record, or my computer, I guess, which I do not have in my scrapbook room with me right now. And figure out what this kite show was called. I'm sure it had a name. Like, I don't even know what this is a picture of. There's nothing. Was it the sky? I mean, there's like nothing happening in this picture that I can tell. Does it tell anything? I have no idea. There's him, them. Oh boy, too many pictures. It's funny that you wouldn't think that would be a thing that a scrapbooker would say, right? That feels like one of those jokes. I have too many pictures, said no scrapbooker ever, but this scrapbooker has too many pictures. Okay, so it's kind of blue and orange. We do have the kite paper in this year's summer break paper, and I have the kite punch. I remember to bring this home from my crop studio. Let me pull out that summer break paper. All right, so I think I do want to use this kite paper just because what on earth else am I going to ever use it for? But maybe, have I done like a page with squares? Let's see, let me grab a scratch paper. So here's kind of my layout. And what if I did something with a whole bunch of like 2 3/4 inch squares? I could fit 16 of them. I've done layouts with like 9, but I'm not even going to do it that way. I'm just going to do it this way. If I did everything in 2 3/4 inch squares, I could fit 32 pictures on this page. I could in some places like double up and do like 2 if I wanted to. That would have to be like 2 3/4 by, that would be not quite 6. I'd still need 2 3/4 and 2 3/4 plus a quarter. 2 plus 3, 5 3/4 to do it that way. And I don't know if I can do that because these pictures might be too small. I'd have to mat. Let's kind of play around with that. Let me get my sizing templates and see if I already have a 2 3/4 inch square. All right, I've showed you these before. Oh, look, that's 2 3/4 by 4. Got some of the circles. I think I'm gonna have to do, oh, you know, it'd be kind of cool to do a circle that's 2 3/4. I don't know if I have a circle that's 2 3/4. So I'm gonna have to make a template, and I've shown you that one before, so I'm not gonna make you watch. I'll be back with that, and then we'll move to the next step. So here's a template, 2 3/4 inches, and you know, I'll link to my video where I show you how to make these. And it's just for me to size this and see how it's going to work. And we don't have one that's exactly 2 3/4, but this circle is the large circle, the blue blade on the inside. So I think that's going to be close enough if I wanted to mix in some circles, which might be kind of fun. So I think I want this one. And I'm just going to go through here and see. Like this one, I kind of want to get the little jet ski plus all of that. I think that works well. This one's kind of cool because it has the people and the kite. This one doesn't really work as well as far as fitting into here. I mean, unless I lose this little other end of the kite. That one you can barely see it. So I'm going to go through and just choose some of these, some of each style of kite. Like I like this one because it's got kind of the rainbow streaks in the back, and I can cut that person's head off. You ever want to chop someone's head off without any repercussions? That's what we can do right there. So I might, love this one. But I can see that this will take me a little while to go through, and I don't think you want to watch that. So let me go through and kind of see how many I can figure out. If we do 16 4x4, 16 on each page, 32 pictures. I don't think I want 32, but I could use the kites, the kite paper in a few of the squares. So even if I did like 24, that would give me several places I could use some solids. So yeah, let's see how many pictures I end up coming up with that I want, and then we'll go from there. And I was going to say I'll cut them and have them ready, but I'm not, because I'm going to use the new trimmer. So I will, I'll just figure out which pictures I want to show, want to use, and narrow my pile down so it's not however many this is, which is probably like double what I can fit. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, so I've narrowed it down. I've discarded all of these, but I can always pull one out if I decide I need it. I did not count these. I think it's more than 32. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so that's 19 already right here. So I probably need to narrow it down a little bit more, but some of these are very similar. And I really like this one, but I don't think, I was thinking I was keep this one big, but I don't think I need to because there's nothing else except this little King Louis right here. So I want one of him in the sky, one of him crashing into the benches. And then I like this one because you can see the little jet ski and everything together. Oh, these were all Baloo. Thought this one would go nicely in the circle. I kind of put this pile to be the circles. So 4 circles. All right, more narrowing down, which I'm not going to make you watch. So this time I've put them in piles of 4. So I can do 4 rows of 4 on each layout. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then that leaves me with 6 empty spaces, and that might be enough. So now I think it's time to cut, which means it's time to pull out the ones I want to do in circles. I think I only want to do maybe 4 circles total. And I think this pile was already the ones that I thought I wanted to have in circles, although these two are very similar. Maybe I want this one in a circle. I like this one because it's got the little jet ski. Okay, so I'm going to do these 4 in the circle. So I'll set that to the side, and then I may not actually need to do both of these. If I'm going to do something that's across 2, they're not really going to work because these pictures are the digital size, so they're only 5 1/4, which doesn't give me 2 3/4 times 2. So I can't really do any rectangles that cross over, which is what I was thinking I might want to do. Yeah. Okay, so now we get to play with our new photo trimmer, which I've talked about in some other videos. Like it a lot. If you're familiar with the previous trimmer, one of the bad habits I got into was picking it up like this. This blade is much sharper, and you can see that it pokes off the side a little bit. The other one had a little lip. Let me grab it so I can compare for you the 2 different trimmers. So I actually did a kids scrapbook camp a few weeks ago, and I took every trimmer that I own over to my crop studio. And apparently I only brought home a blue one, but this is just like the white one, very much the same. But when you lift this up, you see it's got this little kind of lip right here. And when you picked it up, it never touched that blade. Plus the blade was completely flush with the side. It doesn't poke out at all. Whereas this one, there is no bottom lip here, and the blade exceeds the white a little bit. So we have had a couple stories already of people cutting themselves. So you're just going to need to remember that this is a sharp cutting blade, and these are brand new trimmers, so the blades are going to be sharp. So when you're going to pick it up, make sure that it's closed. I am super guilty of, probably if we went back and watched my old videos, I'm super guilty of just grabbing it when the handle is up to move it. We need to get in the habit of not doing that, all right? Once this is closed, there's no way it's going to cut you if it's closed. I don't know that I would let small children use this unsupervised because of that, because it does have a sharp edge. If you do want to have your child use this, teach them to, the blade safety. So, 7, 8-year-olds can probably learn it, but I would not probably do it with a, 4-year-old. So, all right, that being said, now we're going to start cutting some 2 3/4 inch squares. And all right, so on the previous trimmer, we had the numbers up here on the edge, and this one, you cover up the numbers. That's a little different, but it cuts like a dream, you guys. It just, it's just magical. So this 3x3 square grid is printed on here, so I know that I'm just cutting it 1/4 1/4 inch smaller than that 3x3 square. And there's my first photo cut with this. I have used it for one other video, which you will see later. I had to film out of order. Let's see if I can do this guy. I kind of don't want to cut her off the picture, but I don't actually know her, so it's probably going to be okay. We just want to show King Louis here. All right, this is the one I'm not sure about because I do like having the boat and those people. And I guess we can get just like that. It'll lose his the little mini parachute that was above him. But let's see if we can do 2 3/4. Oh no. We'll just barely get him. 2 3/4. I do like having the grid. I'm just going to lose some of the jet ski guys. Got the raised little lip to go up against here. This one will be easy. However, it does make it hard for me with my little, the way I like to center things was by lining it up with that ruler up here. I might need to do some markings up there. This will be interesting to adjust to this new trimmer without the measurements visible above the picture. This one I'll keep the little mini is it a parachute? I guess it's just a little mini kite that goes up above it. This one too, I think we have to cut 2 3/4 would be about right there. But I do like this kind of front view of the jet ski. That's kind of cool. And it was in the late afternoon, so the sky was really pretty. This time we'll have the little girl that, she was not little, she was perfectly normal sized. We'll have the worker girl can be in the picture. But I am losing all those other kites, or the top pieces. This one is just the kites coming down low over the crowd. So here's the line right here that I'm cutting from. So I'm just kind of eyeballing what I want. And maybe that's what I'll have to learn to do this time. Instead of aligning it with the lines up here, I'll just have to align it with these lines here. So, oh, that one would have been cool in a circle too, wouldn't it? Oh, maybe that would be more cool than one of these others. Yeah, we'll do this one in a circle. I'll do this one in the square. Oh, I like that sky. Maybe I'll do it this way. So one of the nice things about this trimmer is that the blade is spring-loaded, so you don't really have to, pull it in. It just cuts straight. And there are always going to be some, whenever you make a whole bunch of something, you're going to have some manufacturing, guys that sneak through the manufacturing process and aren't the best quality. But CM is going to stand by it. So if you happen to get one of the, 1% of trimmers that maybe has an issue, just know that, CM is not going to stick you with a lemon. So I think I want to cut a little more of that off the top. So if you have any issues, contact customer service, contact your advisor, and we can hook you up with getting your trimmer replaced. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of these. I guess I could still talk to you. I don't want to... It's kind of boring to watch somebody just cut pictures, I think, but it's such a nice trimmer. I'm so excited about it. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of these, and then we'll come back and we'll figure out what paper we're going to use, which maybe I've made a mistake in cutting all my pictures before I know what on earth I'm doing. But too late, I've already done it. So this one I can get both the little jet ski and the guy, so that'll be nice. I think I'll do it this way. Actually, I think I want to cut this piece of orange off. I don't know if that's King Louis or something, but it's distracting me. So I'm going to cut that off. Yeah, okay. I'll be back when all the rest of these are cut. I'll probably wait and cut one of the circles for you just in case, on the off chance that somebody hasn't seen the custom cutting system. Okay, I'm done with my trimmer. I'm closing it. No sharp blades right here. Okay, just so you know. My scissors, so beautiful. All right, we'll clean this out and then we'll pull out our circle. And because I wrote a note on my pattern, I know that this is a large circle with a blue blade on the inside. So I have my blades in this little cute box. I want the blue blade. And although my work surface is a self-healing mat, it's getting pretty torn up. So I'm going to pull out my 13-inch cutting mat. Although I guess that's going to make this get torn up at some point too. And we're just going to figure this out. There is a plastic sizing template that comes with the custom cutting system, but I don't know where mine are because I mostly don't use them. I don't need them. I kind of know what's going to be cut off and what's not going to be cut off. I was hoping to keep those people at the bottom, but I think I just cut off her head. So this is a fast cut. Just make sure both feet are in the groove. If you ever try to cut with this and it like tears your picture, I'll show you. So if you ever put it in and you accidentally don't put both legs in the groove, so you've got it like this, you won't know, but when you go to cut, it's gonna like, oh, well, it won't even do it, but it'll rip your paper, rip your photo like that. So if you're like, oh, mine's ripping the paper, odds are good that your legs are not in the groove, because if both legs are in the groove, then this is going to be at exactly the correct angle. If you're doing it this way, it's going to be cutting across the grain. So and I can just tell kind of where the blade is landing. Gosh, the sky was pretty. That must have been why I had those pictures that had nothing in them, was just because the sky was really pretty. So with this one, I'm just positioning it so I can see where the blade is going to touch the photo and make sure that I'm going to fit everything on here. All right. So there's all our photos cut. This is also a very sharp blade. You always want to make sure that you carefully tuck this back inside itself and close it up when you're done using it so you don't cut your fingers. But I will admit that I usually have Band-Aids in my scrapbooking stuff because, you know, I don't always follow my own advice. So do as I say, not as I do. So now I think I'm going to take this kite paper and I'm just going to cut 4. I kind of don't love that they're all the same, but I think if I did it anywhere, they're going to be very similar. So I'm going to cut 4 2 3/4 inch mats or little squares. And they'll be a little bit different just because of where they're falling in the, you know, in the design. I kind of like, oh, I like both of these. I like that with this tail. Okay, that'll work right there. 2 3/4. This one, okay, the whole tail. So now we have to decide what we want for our background page. And I'm kind of thinking maybe the canary yellow or the island waters. Let me pull both of those and see. The suggested papers are canary, tangerine, Kelly green, baby blue. I think the baby blue and the Kelly green match with this. I don't want baby blue because the paper itself is really blue. So maybe the canary, maybe the tangerine actually, because we do have this. Let's see. We'll pull them both out and see. Okay, so I only have one. I have another unopened pack of the Island Waters. I don't know if that's what I'm going to want to use, but let's just kind of throw these guys on here and see how we feel. I kind of think it's going to be the canary, but I'm not hating the tangerine. I don't. I mean, I'm going to want one of these other colors. I'm going to cut a few squares. Maybe I'll need some of all the colors. There definitely is contrast between the photos and the canary yellow. But I'm being drawn to the tangerine. Because we do have King Louie who's orange, and we have Baloo who's blue, and blue and orange are complementary colors. Several of the layouts we've done have had orange in them recently. The Maharaja Trek pictures had orange. It's going to need something else. And maybe the fact that we did 2 3/4, we can bump these guys a little bit closer together so I can still do a border. You know how I feel about borders. So we could even do something like this and still fit our shapes just barely if I have the circle, which is a little bit bigger. I don't like the orange and the Island Waters together. Maybe I'd want the baby blue. No, I don't think I do. So maybe it is going to be the canary. Maybe it's going to be the canary with the orange, actually. It's just a subtle little matte. And this is like the sky is that same yellow. I feel like it's blending in. So maybe it's going to be the orange with the canary. That might be it right there. So how much of this can I, oh, it's going to be hard because I'm doing a double page spread to make this even. But it looks like I just need to cut off, you know, a 1/4 inch on the inside and a 1/2 inch this way. And then I've got to figure out which is going to be the top and bottom. So I'm not going to cut anything yet. We're going to do the tangerine. And I may add another, I may add another piece of cardstock or another piece of designer paper, not that one, to kind of mix in for some contrast. Actually, this is kind of reminding me of the layout we did for the Festival of Fantasy Parade way at the beginning, remember? And I hated it. And then I came back to it a couple of days later and I didn't hate it anymore. Okay, let's just kind of spread these out. I'm going to put away my old, tried and true, beloved old personal trimmer and my new little mat or sizing template. Oh, and I have these kites. So I don't know if we're going to do anything with them. I really want to use that kite template, that kite punch that I remembered to bring home. So I think I'm just going to put these down just randomly right now, and then we'll arrange them in other ways, just so it makes more sense. But I think I want to do like I might need another circle because that even number thing is gonna not be my favorite. I want these two kind of went together. They didn't really, but I may not need as many of these as I thought I did. Put that one at the end. You know, I may need to trim these just so that I know that they're going to fit. This circle does feel a little bit bigger than 2 3/4. I like this one because he looks like he's taking a little nap, right? So if it's okay if I don't do a border, maybe I can only do like an 1/8 of an inch border, and maybe I'll have to do it by like a strip of paper and not by putting this on top of something else. I definitely want some room to journal. So some of the see. So this might be too many. Now I have to decide if I want like all the flying to be together and then all the crashing to be at the end. I kind of think that would make sense. Maybe put these two guys right here. This right here. All right, so let me move these around. I don't know that I can think out loud while I'm doing that. All right, so if I position these and get it right so that I have space to cut off at the top and bottom, then I can mount it on something else and have that frame that I want. But I'll have to put these really close together. So I think I'll do one side first. I think I'm going to put the pictures down before I trim it, just because I don't want to have to do math. You guys know how I feel about math. And I think I'm not going to put the circle in. Oh, but the circles overlap if they're because they're a little bit bigger than the picture. But I think I'm going to pretend like they're all squares and stick all the squares down first and then come back and put the circles. And that way I can use a circle or a square in place of the circle when I'm trying to position these and get them all kind of the same distance. And I'm just eyeballing it. I could probably use a ruler. I probably should use a ruler because anytime you do squares like this, it's really easy to get them a little bit off kilter. I'm starting with the outside so I can line it up and match with this. But as I get going, and some of these, especially these that aren't going to be next to the, right up next to the side, I think it's going to be a little tricky. All right, that looks pretty even to me. I'm going to pretend that this one goes here. I'm not going to stick it down, but I'm going to use it as a placeholder. Pretend that it's stuck down because then we can align it here and align it here. This might be a time to use repositionable in case you need to, you know, stagger your photos a little bit. But I find that if I need to pick up and move a photo, even with regular permanent adhesive, I always can. So. All right, so that's working okay. Okay, so I'm going to stick these down. You guys are seeing what I'm doing, how I'm using the squares to position and saving the circles for last. And then when I've got them all stuck down, I'll come back. So I'm popping back in just to show you I got the first page done. And I have a good, it's maybe almost 3/4 of an inch on either side. So I am going to be able to trim this down and back it on something. And I think that will give me that kind of border and contrast. And I might actually go with maybe even a darker color. So now that I've got this side done, because I left the little 1/16 of an inch spacing, these circles fit almost exactly in those little leftover squares with the gap. So they do touch on the sides, but they don't have to overlap, which is I'm thankful for. So now I'm going to stick the other side down, and then we'll be back to do whatever comes next. All right, so I've got everything stuck down except this last little circle. I did have a little bit of trouble positioning this without it because I can't line it up against that edge, and there's nothing to line it up here, but I will just straighten that up once I get everything in there. And while I was away, I did look it up. The name of the show was called Kite Tails, Tails, and it was part of the 50th anniversary celebration. So it ran from October 1st, 2021, which was the 50th anniversary of the Magic Kingdom, to September 22nd, 2022. So I will try to work that into the journaling. So let's see. Where's my ruler? This little gap, I love the zero centering ruler that has this section right here that has the very minuscule measurements. Let's see, how can I show those to you? See, so you get all the little 7/8, whatever, and that's going to help me figure out how much space I have here. It is like basically exactly 3/4 of an inch. So what I want to do then is cut off about 7/8 of an inch. That's going to be a little tricky. So 7/8 is right there. Oh, no, that's too much. Then that's 7/8 is more than 3/4 of an inch. So I want 5/8. What do I want? Three eighths. Oh yeah, this is giving me the wrong thing. This is saying 7/8 is right under 3/4 of an inch. That's not right. So this must be the zero centering. 5/8 is, I think, what I want. So I need to cut off, yeah, at the 5/8 line, which is the 1/8 of an inch line between the 1/2 inch and the 3/4 of an inch. So here's my 3/4 of an inch line, and there's the, no, this is right here. 1/2 inch is this one, and 3/4 of an inch is there. So I'm going to pull back in between to this 5/8, and it might not be, now let's see, before we cut anything, we'll do it with the sight lines. All right, that might work. Oh, look at that. That's exactly what I wanted. 5/8 of an inch, which is halfway between the 1/2 inch and the 3/4 inch line. All right, I gotta say that worked out pretty well, that this edge that I just cut is very similar to the edge that I eyeballed. So go me. 1/2 inch, 5/8. Oh, this one's not quite as impressive. I think this one I might have not squished them quite as close together, but I won't tell if you don't tell. All right, so now we decide what color we want to put this on top of. Do I want that pastel yellow, or do I need a brighter color, or do I need a pattern paper from the summer break? Oh, that water paper. I don't really want to have to use the whole piece of the water, but I could cut the middle out of it. I won't have much of a, it's going to go like this. Oh, I think I do like it that. I think that works really nicely with the bear. What do you think? What else have I got in here? I don't think any of these others are going to work. Let me try it with, I'll try it with this kind of, I think they called this like an ice cream cone. I think this is going to be just too light. I think I need the contrast of a darker color. And that's kind of okay, but I think I like that a lot. Let me try it with the cardstock. This is that Island Waters, and I don't think it matches anything on here except a little bit of that. And I think it's going to be this. I don't even know if I want to try the yellow because I think that's going to be too boring. Yeah, too boring. It's going to be this blue. But I don't want to waste all of this cute blue wave paper. Oh, and the cute polka dot paper. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to gut the inside of this. And I only need, you know, what do we do? 5/8. So 2.5/8, whatever that is. 5/16. And this side, I don't know that I want to cut it at 1 inch. That's going to be too small. So I think I'll do it a 1/2 inch all the way. And I'm going to put these, I'm going to face these together. And we're going to cut a U or a letter C shaped cut. I've done this many times before, so hopefully you've seen me do that. We're going to do it at 1.5 inches. So I'm going to stack these together. I'm going to put this at the 1.5 inch line. I'm going to start down here. This is the 12 inch. So 1.5 inches would be 10.5. Because the blade is in the middle, the start is in the middle of this, I'm going to put the edge of this at 11.5. We're going to cut up. And then making sure that I keep these still right together, although it doesn't matter a whole lot because it's going to be behind. 1.5 inches. So I've cut my 2 sides of my letter U and or letter C. And then I put this together in here. And I'm going to pick this up so I can find right where that starts. I'm just going to cut from line to line. I can see the line right there. Okay, so now I've got this I can save for another project. Who knows what we'll need it for. And this is a little tricky because this is, you know, designer paper weight and this is cardstock weight. So it's not, you know, this is a little wimpy, but we should be all right. And again, I'm going to use my 13-inch mat because this gives me that edge right here. It's going to help me to make everything straight. So I just want to put adhesive on these 3 sides because this side is going to be open right there. So double check where I want my adhesive. And I'm trying to keep it, you know, kind of close to the edge. I mean, I have some clearance. I have wiggle room for this. But I'm just going to go around here. Now this is on here straight. And let's see. We say it was about 1/4 inch. Oh, don't stick down yet. It's a little, like it's a little bit higher on the bottom than on the top. But what I'm really checking for is for this to be just exactly flush on both pieces. Oh, that's pretty good. That worked out pretty nicely. Okay, and then we'll do the other one, and I'm just going to basically use this to position more so than any of the ruler, but this is going to help me make this all be straight. That way, so this way. Okay, I just discovered these are upside down. These little waves are upside down. I don't want them, I want them to be wave direction. So I'm going to swap this while I still can. Thankfully, I only stuck down one side. I did rip the paper a little bit, but it doesn't matter because all the pieces that have ripped or where it's peeled up the color. Oh, I just ripped it really good right there. are going to be hidden behind the other side. So we're going to fix this directional. I mean, thankfully, you know, I put them together. So like I book folded them. I don't know what that word would be, so that they all do go in the same direction. That would have been bad if one of them was up and down and the other was not. So we're going to start over and do this one so that the waves are in the appropriate wave direction. And if anybody saw that while I was putting the first one together, you were screaming at your computer, I obviously heard you. I stuck it down before it was too late. I'll do it this way just so that I can get this edge right where I want it. Again, probably not something you would need to watch. And I'm going to edit this video down, but I'm already at the 1 hour and 10 minute mark, and I don't feel like I ordinarily spend that much time on a layout. Maybe I do. And I don't know if it's just because I talk more, or if I just don't pay attention to how long it takes me to do a layout. But hopefully by the time I can snip out some of the working pieces, you guys won't have to watch this for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Okay, that's better. Now the waves are in the right direction. I'm glad that I caught that. Like, this is one of those other things, like I've said before, that nobody else would probably ever care. So that piece is down. Okay, there we go. I like that. Now I need something to be in this square, and I think I want some color, but I don't know what color I want. I don't know if there's, I could do the polka dots. That might not be terrible. And I kind of want to still use this kite punch, but there's not really a good place to do it unless we put a few little kites just somewhere in here. Kite Tails is going to fit with sticker letters right there, no problem. So maybe this needs to be a solid red. Do I do the red? I think that was one of the colors, right, that it suggested. Yeah, coordinating cardstock red. Let's try the red. Okay, that is super red, but I think I kind of like it. So let's cut a piece that is 2 3/4 inches high, and then I'm gonna have to do some math because I need 2 3/4 plus 2 3/4 plus like a 1/16 of an inch, and I don't know what that would be. 2 and 3, so 3 and 3 would be 6. So 2 3/4 and 2 3/4 would be 5 1/2 plus a 1/16 of an inch. That's like a terrible measurement. I think I'm going to have to mark this one with a pencil. And this will be a good excuse for why I flip over my cardstock to cut it. Actually, this edge is a little bit wonky. It's being stuffed in my drawer. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up with these pictures. So now it's just exactly lined up here, and then I will mark right here, and then I'm going to cut off that pencil line that I just made. Cut it off. Always easier to cut a little bit big and have to go trim it down. There we go. All right, okay, but now I think I want like a double mat of a different color because it's very red. Or maybe I'll do put the title down, and then whatever's left, I'll put the yellow or a piece of the the baby blue. Probably blue letters, you think? Let's pull out the letter stickers. All right, I pulled up my letter stickers, but now that I'm looking at this again, I'm not liking the red. It's too much. I think I want blue, and I think I want to use this blue. This wave that we used for the border. I think that's going to look better in here. And then I can use maybe orange stickers or white stickers for the kite tails. So sorry, little piece of red. We'll try that again. 2 3/4. And I'm just going to use this piece as my pattern. So I know where to cut. I have a pretty new mat on my trimmer, and so I can't just see where the cut line is because I can't see the cut line. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like that better. Like that better than the red because it kind of brings it all together. And we don't have light blue letters. We've got white. We've got orange. Hopefully they're all put away from the last time I've used them. I have a bad habit of not putting them away. So exactly right now, the blue ones are not even in here. The orange ones aren't put in here either, but some orange that are out of their package. Or that are still in the package. I'll grab my real ones. The orange letters, maybe. White letters. It might be white. It might be white. Let me find the ones that are open, and we'll try that. All right, took me a minute, but I found them. I don't know. What did I have on here before? Orange? I think I like the orange. Well, either I haven't used the orange before or I haven't cleaned my craft room in a while, and we're going to pretend that it's the first one. So I'm going to write Kite Tails on here, and then I think I'm going to do a piece of light blue to journal on. And I think we're going to use upper and lowercase. And I'm going to use my ruler to position, like I do. All right, so I've positioned my sticker letters on here. See, I've got the little middles to the E and the A, and I think it's going to fit just right on there. So I want it to be right about here. So right now I've got that grid line, which is that right at the 2-inch, but I need to move it down because this is on the 1/4 inch line. So I'm going to scoot that down to the 2 1/4 inch line. That looks about right. That's about centered. And it's actually a little bit easier to do this on this piece of paper than it is when I do it on a page, because there's nothing bumpy underneath it to be impacting the ruler sticking straight down. And yes, I know that there are Titletopias, but they didn't give us a straight one. I don't need the swirly ones. I need a straight one. I should send that one in as a suggestion. All right, hopefully these guys are straight. The L's a little tricky. He's a little crooked. Everything else looks good. Kite Tails, and now we'll go put the eyes on. I gotta say, if you're a Disney fan, I wrote Kite Tails, and now I've got Duck Tails, which is a Disney cartoon from many years ago. Their little theme song is going through my head, and my apologies if now I've sent it into your head. And I think we are going to use light blue for the journal box. Got a piece of this baby blue. I can never remember what the name of the current color is. It's either light blue or baby blue, but I think it goes with that. Oh, I could use the yellow. Canary. Maybe. That feels too same. This pulls out that yellow that's right there. Oh. Some of these things I just overthink. And I know some of you have already told me that. I get it. I know that I overthink. I think we'll use the blue. Just keep it a little bit the same. So I can fit right about 1.5 inches by 5 3/8. This isn't the side that has those measurements. Yep, 5 3/8. So cut 1.5 inches by 5 3/8. And then the trick will be, can I fit all the things I want to say? Okay, 1/8, 2/8. That's about right there. Is probably about 5 3/8. Can I fit all the things I want to say about Kite Tails in this little square? So challenge accepted. Let me see what I can come up with. I haven't stuck this down yet, so if I mess up, I'll use the back, and then I also have this. So let's see if I can fit all the things I want to say on here, and then we'll come back and put it all together. Okay, if I had more space, I would have written more. I just said, as part of the 50th anniversary celebration, Disney debuted a fun kite show in the Discovery River Lagoon, a place that has been mostly unused all the years we've been coming here. Jet ski drivers pulled giant kites around the lagoon, which would end up crash landing in the bleachers right by our seats. So that's not necessarily the most grammatically correct sentence I've ever written, but hopefully people will understand. Oh, and I did make a mistake, because it turns out I couldn't figure out how to spell debuted. I knew how to spell debut, but then I didn't know where to put the ET in the end. So it is not, note to self, it is not D-E-B-U-E. And as soon as I wrote it, I knew it was wrong. So, all right, so there's my little title and journal box. We'll slip it right in its spot. And then I'm going to look at it just for a minute and see if I need, if I feel like I need some kites. I kind of think I do, and maybe they need to be this orange with this red, because I already have this piece of red. There's not much other red. Let's pull it. Let's see if I have a scrap of orange, like the pumpkin orange. So I don't have a scrap. I have a whole piece, but I think I'm going to punch a couple of kites, and then we're going to see. This one, the kite stays attached. It doesn't fall through. I think because it's got the inside pieces. So just so you know, you got to kind of watch out for these. Could we use a couple of little kites? That might be fun with some little bows. All right, I think I am going to use some kites. I think I'm going to use maybe 3 kites, but I'm going to need to punch more so that I can have more of the little bows. And I need some something to be a little tail. I think I might just have to cut paper, just cut some paper super thin. This would be a good task for the 12-inch trimmer and that extra piece of blue paper I just used. Oops. Oh, double punched that one bow, so I'm not going to be able to use that bow. So let's just see. I do like the orange kites. I like the orange bows. Let's scooch all these guys off. I don't need the little triangles from the inside, so I have to kind of pick those out. Oh, that's the one that I double punched through and didn't quite give me a full bow. Wish they would have done 3 bows instead of 2, because I feel like 3 bows, although I guess on theirs they didn't necessarily do that many, but I feel like 3, it's that rule of 3 thing. 3 bows is going to look better. All right, I think I got all the bows. Now we're going to take this paper. It's going to be a little tricky because, oh, we'll try the new trimmer. See how minuscule a little smidge we can cut. I'm just going to barely poke it off the edge. I can see it's off by like a hair. So, oh, look at that little tiny strip. It would be easier if this paper were a little bit thicker because it's under the hole. And okay, I'll cut one more if I can. This paper, it's going to be tricky to cut pieces that are smaller than an inch, because an inch and a quarter, because of this little finger protector, but you definitely want to protect your fingers. All right, there's 4. Come on. Okay, so if we definitely want to use repo on this guy. Oh, I think I want to position them first before I decide what I'm going to do. I think I want one, I like it right here by these circles. If I do one right there, one right there. So maybe this needs to be on that side. One right there and one right here. That gives me that rule of 3. Okay. These are too long. I'll just grab my microchip scissors from the bottom of my new photo trimmer. I'm going to cut this about in half. So apparently I didn't need to cut as many as I did. This one is the skinniest. I think I like the skinnier ones. And I'm just going to kind of curl them up a little bit. So let's attach the string. And punch shapes do kind of have a front and a back, I think, where the punch often indents them a little bit. So if we do this right here, then we'll just do this whole thing. We'll do punch or little, oh, it's coming off the edges. Put this guy right here, little kite right here, and then I hope I can just curl those. I don't know. I don't like the straight. I want this to be a little bit curly. I probably should have curled it first. Maybe we just need to like roll it. It's too small to roll. Twist it somehow. Make it into like a little string. Ooh, that's what I'll do. I'm going to twist it like this. It's going to give a little tiny bit of texture, but it's so skinny that it's not going to matter, I think. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll, now I don't know which side I've got adhesive on. Stick this back down, and then we'll just twist this little guy. Rub that off. Oops. All right, a real piece of little string would have worked better here, but I don't have any string. I also don't know where my little lifter stick is, because that would come in handy right here too. Oh, good. I really wanted to be able to use the kite punch. A few little repo stickies on here to rub off. All right, so that one's going to go here. Let me twist this guy again. A little faster the second time. We'll do the same thing. Oh, is it going to be right here? Oh yeah, it was going to be right there. The little kite and then this little string. It's a little harder, the string, because it's so skinny. But it's allowing me to just kind of twist it around. So yesterday was our Savvy Scrapbookers, and if you watched Donna Guest's video, she made a comment in there about how if you want to get more ideas for quick layouts, you can watch her channel. And as I'm sitting here working on this, I'm realizing that that's not what you get when you watch my channel. Once in a while I have a quick layout, but a lot of mine are not as quick. That's all right. There's lots of room in scrapbooking for all of us. Okay. Oh, I like that with the little kites. Very cute. You think? A little kite show. And then I'll do this last one up here. I can find a string. This one's long. Just kind of giving it a little bit so it's not straight. Just kind of playing with it. Sometimes when I'm like at dinner, do you ever go out to dinner and like the paper from a straw? I always play with it. I roll it up, I twist it around. I feel like that's what I'm doing here. Just a little nervous habit I have, I guess. All right. All right, this one I twisted it, but then when I stuck it down, I untwisted it. So I'll just do it like that, and then I'll put the little bow I didn't have any putting right there. I feel like I'm wasting a lot when I do it like that on my finger, but how else can you do it? Okay. I only have 3 little bows left, so this one's going to have fewer. Go with one up there. And I think this is going to be done. Oh, look, there's another bow. I could do a 4th bow. Take that, rule of 3. There we go. Oh, it makes me happy. All right, so here's the finished layout. Let's turn off the glare. Hopefully you can still see it with the lights down. But let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 26 photos on this layout. And I got to use the kite punch, which I really like. I could even go back and punch it with another color and fill these in. That might be fun. But boy, I spent a lot of time on this layout. I'm not sure I want to do that. But I am happy with it. I really think that I was able to showcase all the different pictures. I was able to tell the story a little bit about what's going on in here. And I think it's pleasing to look at. And yeah, use the kite paper. I'm real happy with it. So it took a little longer than even for me than I usually like to spend on my videos, but when you end up with a layout that you love, it's worth it, right? So if you have a bunch of pictures of an event, 2 3/4 was the magic number, and then the circle was the large circle inside with the blue blade if you want to do that. And just kind of position them and trim your edges and off you go. So thank you so much. Oh goodness, what week are we on? 44? Is this week 44? Goodness sakes, it is week 44. This layout's going to be called Kite Show. And I'll be back next week with episode 45. And then the following week, I have my Rocket City Scrapbook Retreat. So I'm going to have to record that one a little bit early. But yeah, we're moving right along. I think we're getting to the end of Animal Kingdom. And I don't even know what's coming next. But Theme Park Thursday, episode 44. Thanks so much for watching, listening to me ramble, and listening to me think out loud. I love your comments. I love that all of you who interact with me through the comments or my Facebook. It means the world. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next week.